It took me a while to actually figure this out. And once I did, it changed pretty much every way that I looked at my business and, more importantly, how to grow and succeed in the world of business. And here's what I want to share with you. This is that one tip. All businesses are just hole fillers. Now, you might think I'm a little nuts on this. Hang with me for a second. Because you see, here's the thing. Folks have needs and wants. Us as business owners, we got to go ahead and we're the ones who are going to put that hole, that need or want, we're going to put the asphalt in there. Now, today, brewers are facing different challenges because there was a time when the holes out there were someplace a family of four with a couple little kids could go and drink some beer and the kids could be somewhat entertained. Or there are folks out there who really wanted a high ABV $7, $8, $9 a pint beer. There were those holes out there. My question for you is, do you think maybe brewers today need to find out where the new holes are? Are we maybe just starting to throw more and more asphalt on a hole that's already filled? And now instead of filling holes, we're creating bumps. Right now as a brewer, are you hitting bumps along the way? If you are, you're not alone for sure. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about in this video how to get the right message, make the changes you need to make, find out where the right people are, and regularly and easily get that message across to them. Right now, I'm seeing brewers making errors. It's like they're going down the wrong way. And even if they see a sign or two, they're still intent on going down this dead end. Let's make a U-turn. Let's agree that we got to make some changes. Now, I'm going to share with you how to see the signals that are going to tell you what changes you need to make. I'm going to show you how to swim with the current. Let's make it easy. Let's not try and reinvent a wheel. Let's put a wheel where there are three other wheels and have a cart that's ready to go. And I'm going to teach you how to find the right levers to pull and the right time to pull them. And by doing that, we can kind of change a course. We can move your brewery in a different direction. New branding is really what I'm kind of referencing it, but it's not the typical way you look at branding. I want to call it brewery branding, and it's specifically designed to address today's issues. So let's dive into things. First thing you have to be doing is monitoring your marketplace. And by your marketplace, I mean everybody who you could possibly be a competitor with. Obviously other breweries, other bars, restaurants, maybe even liquor stores. You want to do this mainly on social media, but also get out into your community and look around and visit certain places. Now, you might want to create a burner account in social media if that's what you need to do to be comfortable to do this. Do it. But you need to see the messages that your competitors are sending out and the feedback they're getting back. You additionally want to look for gaps, opportunities that the marketplace aren't filling. You look for inconsistencies, places where someone started off doing something, but then it sort of petered out. When you do this, you're going to find opportunities as well as problems that need solutions. And guess who's going to step in there and fix those issues or problems? You. Some examples you might see, everybody and their brother-in-law filling their menus with nothing but IPAs or high ABV beers. Situations where there's not a lot of food opportunities, or maybe similar types of food being offered in multiple different places. Or maybe nothing happening on Tuesdays, and there's an opportunity that's made itself available for you. What you're going to see as you do some monitoring is that there's opportunities for new ground. Now, let's talk about taking that next step. You find some potential opportunities. You want to compare. This is going to be where I'm really breaking some ground with you, because you need to compare your business with your marketplace. Where are you weak? And inevitably, almost every business is weak somewhere. And where you're weak, this is the hard part. You need either to make some changes or you need to cut bait, meaning stop doing what you're doing. You may love IPAs. I love IPAs. You may see that your market is flooded with IPAs. Doesn't mean you can't have an IPA on your menu. But if you've got 4 or 5 beers No more than one could possibly be an IPA. That's the type of change I'm talking about. Or maybe you have tasted other folks' IPAs, and guess what? Yours isn't up to snuff. You need to stop making IPAs. These are hard changes you need to make, but these are the changes that you do need to make your business thrive. Because in every industry that's evolved, just like the craft brewery industry is evolving, if folks don't make changes, they're going to be gone. I don't want you to be gone. Now, I don't know your market. Obviously, I've done no research, but some examples. I mean, the marketplace generally at the macro level is giving off some signals, isn't it? Maybe folks are looking for places where there's not a bunch of kids running around while they're having their beer. Maybe folks are thinking, you know what, I need a real cheap beer option. Because right now, the high ABV, the high dollar amount beer, the brew pubs with a bunch of kids running around, that's a worn path. It's time for you to look in your marketplace and find the fresh new paths, because those paths are what's going to lead you to success. Now, here's the thing. Now that I've kind of mentioned stuff, if you're not seeing it, you clearly haven't done enough comparisons. You've not looked at your market well enough. If ideas aren't starting to resonate in your mind. Now, the other thing that you might be facing some difficulties with and or you need to add into how you're going to make these changes is, do you have your brand dialed in? If not, I've got some easy ways you can get your branding dialed in and focused in. I want to send that off to you now. So go ahead in the comments and put brand, and I'll make sure you get a copy of that. Let's talk about how you can kind of change course, because if things aren't working the way they are now, you got to change course. So let's talk from a macro level. You'll know the micro changes once you've done a proper comparison. But at a macro level, menu changes are probably going to need to be there. But in addition to that, you got to do more. There's got to be situations where your menu, whatever it is you're selling and offering, comes with some experiences. Now, again, I can only look at things with you on a macro level, but let's break out experiences for breweries that have a large facility, and then let's look at a small facility. From a large facility, let's be creative. You got that room. Let's create situations that are new and different and that nobody is offering. Some possible ideas. I'm going to brainstorm some ideas with you and hopefully get your juices flowing. Things like radio controlled cars are really popular. It wasn't in a brewery, but I saw not that long ago a situation where there was obviously needed a lot of space, but they had a big box raised up off the ground full of sand. And they had 8 or 10 different options where folks could radio control construction cars, trucks, cranes, and things like that. And folks could go through that. It's new and different. Other things, think about open mic situations, pop-up markets. Axe throwing is popular. Could that resonate with your brand and your marketplace? Other things that I think are really kind of cool and different might be a silent disco night, where folks have headphones on and they're all listening to their own kind of music. I mean, think about the optics of that. That's kind of cool. I'd like to watch. Hey, a lot of times today, what's old is new. Think about maybe an arcade area. How about this? You could set up a little bit of maybe a mobile cooking cart and have a pop-up kitchen. And each week you bring in a new and different guest chef. Wellness is a buzzword today. Could you create a wellness area? Maybe beer facials. I don't know if that would help your face. I haven't had a beer thrown in my face in a while. But other things wellness related could be like massages. Hey, golf has always been popular. I don't think that's changing. Maybe a putting and chipping area. Other things, go outside the box even more. How about making your facility available for weddings? Could your space be appealing to somebody, a couple who's wanting to get married? Would they want to have that in your facility? Corporate events. Corporate events can be enormous cash cows. Would your facility lend itself to that? What type of teaching or celebration situations could your facility offer your community? Does that start to resonate with you? Are we getting some juices flowing? I hope so. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. Let's look at some small areas. And the first thing, the overriding concept I think you have to have in your head when you've got a small facility is you need to provide quality over quantity. So for instance, one of the ideas I came up with that I think somebody really should grab and run with is a personalized tasting experience. And this is a situation where before somebody would order, the typical tasting flight, they would tell you about their likes and dislikes. And then the person pouring the beer would go and customize a tasting experience that's specifically tailored for that person. Key thing to think about with this is you're going to be able to charge a premium for that situation, okay? Because it's not just a random 4 or 5 4-ounce glasses, right? Other thing to think about is brewery reservations. I want to share a story with you about a restaurant. It's located in New York City. It's called Rao's. It is the #1 Italian restaurant in New York City. And that's saying something because the number of Italian restaurants in New York is beyond, I think, what anybody could count because there's always a new one coming. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this so you can understand the small quantity. They only have a handful of seats. They're located in not Midtown Manhattan. They're located up in Harlem. And here's the thing. You could not ever get a reservation on your own. You need to have someone who has standing reservations. And that's the who's who of New York City. And only with them could you possibly even get in to get a meal. They have exclusivity to the nth degree. Now, I don't think you probably tomorrow could implement the Rayo business model into your business, but you could do a watered down version of that potentially. Again, you got to know your marketplace. Let's talk about other things you could do. You could have a sensory training night. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Think about the concept of the Cicerone, where what you're doing is folks are paying a premium to come in and really learn how to taste beer, how to experience beer, how to pair beer with food, how to find out what their and maybe their guests and friends likes would go with beer so they could hold beer-themed opportunities in their own parties and their own life experiences. See what I'm talking about here? You're providing a lot of quality, not just taste the beer and find out type of thing, right? Next thing I want you to think about maybe is a to-go special beer, food, and experience scenario where you potentially might even bring in special type of food to go with a special beer or a couple of beers. You packet that all together and folks would come pick that up and leave. Now that package would have to have a high ticket amount, but because it's to go, in theory, you're not limited by the number of opportunities it could have. I think for somebody in a smaller physical facility, this is a fantastic idea, and I would certainly take multiple swings at making this work. And when I say multiple swings, folks, not everything is a success day one. So you need to, find out if it fits your business and then lean into it. Fundraising nights are a great thing to consider because folks will pay a premium to help their fundraiser of choice. Think about an exclusive tap club where there's a tap that only members would have access to. Other thing with a small brew pub area, lean into tours. Make your tour special. Make your tour over the top, and then you can charge more for that tour and thus generate more revenue. Other thing to think about would be a guest brewer program. Now, this is another thing where you could, done right, charge an amazing premium. Think Rayo's, where that brewer would work with you to create a batch of beer, and it would be to their tastes, their likes. So this would appeal to the folks in your marketplace who are kind of that really top-end beer nerd who have a lot of disposable income. That person would pay a handsome amount of money to be able to create their specific beer. Other things to think about might be exclusive event and evening clubs, a subscription beer club with a beer and food to go situation. If you've got kind of a smaller brewery, have I got your creative juices flowing? I hope so. Now, the way you got to look at these things is new idea. It fits your brand, okay? Fits your business, and it fits your community. If you can put those things together, you have a winner. So, for example, if you're in predominantly a blue-collar marketplace, okay, maybe real expensive elements don't kind of go with it. You've got to make sure it fits your community to make sure you have a winner. So here's the thing. Let's talk about what's next. When you've decided you're going to do X, Y, or Z, maybe some things I talk about or maybe things you discover on your own, you got to let people know. And I want you to watch this next video because I talk about new and better ways to market your brewery. So that video is right here. I'll see you over there. Go ahead, give that a watch now.